will go back to our participants, and if they have any question, as I introduced in the very beginning, that today is a challenge day. So if you have some challenge, share your challenge, and our expert will be more than happy to answer you. It's more like an interactive session, and we will keep moving with this one. Of course, like our next session, we are having one of the world-renowned vice chancellor, Dr. Suhail Naqvi will be with us, and he will be talking more on the assessment side. But today, I thought we should discuss about what we are facing with. So we would love to hear from our colleagues, the participant of this course, for their challenges or how they circumvented, how they were able to resolve those challenges. Share your experiences with us so that our colleagues, other colleagues, can get benefited from that one. So you are more than welcome. Anybody can just open their mic and get in. Nobody has a challenge? Wow, that is so exciting. So, I mean, if the world is a beautiful place, if we are not having challenges, yes, Nadeem, so you want to say something? I see you want.
No, I think I've covered most of the stuff, but what my humble submission would be to, especially to our colleagues from various Pakistani universities, that using this virtual platform, you can now build collaborations which are very much cost effective. And we will be more than happy to facilitate you with building up those collaborations. Secondly, with all sorts of higher education requirements in terms of certification from a foreign institution or thesis evaluation. So these are the times where you can start working with your colleagues and from various parts of the world, and they could be brought in virtually, and they could be engaged with your students as well as faculty in a way where you can start building up those partnerships and collaborations.
Thanks a lot. So I see like a Dr. Uzman Awaz, her mic is open. She want to say something, Dr. Uzman?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I was just thinking that since I belong to the Women University Multan, and it is covering all the areas which are not that much developed, like the central city, people from nearby cities like Kabirwala, DG Khan, and even and Rajanpur, students, specifically the female students, come and they have potential, very intelligent, they qualify our entry test, and then they proceed further for their studies. So I was thinking if we could plan something specifically for these female students who are from the far-flung area and they don't have that much facility as well as awareness as well. And the way these students worked hard, even on their mobiles and getting small packages, then listening to the online lectures and doing the workshops and everything is really very encouraging for us as well, because we also had the input and definitely did it. So, sir, can you give me a short, just an idea, what sort of a workshop or what sort of a plan we should develop in collaboration with any partner for the promotion of these female students, definitely in the country, for women empowerment as well, and for making them more knowledgeable and market useful?
I just want to clarify. I know we will be getting a very good answer for this one. Thank you, Dr. Uzma. I just want to clarify one thing. We have participants across the world. We have people from Bangladesh, we have people from Indonesia, we have people from Afghanistan, Turkey, and all around. So, I mean, of course, we all have our solutions in Pakistan, they are equally applicable globally also. So
So,
I just want to bring it to the attention of our honorable guests. Okay, yes. Dr. Nadeem or
yes.
Dr. Sajjad? Yes, Dr. Uzman, please.
I know this was an open, an open invitation. Anyone from our colleagues, the participant already in this forum, they can give me an opportunity or an idea, so they can float and I can definitely will work on it. Similarly to our worthy speaker as well. So it's open for everybody, and I would like to do something for the university. Especially, I would like to tell you the students were in such a state that they couldn't buy the bigger packages, you know. So what we did was we developed CDs and we developed the USBs, and then we requested them to come over and get it and then work on it. So you can imagine the way things went on, but Alhamdulillah, things went on successfully. So I just wanted to do something about these students. What would be a very effective program for such students, specifically for the far-flung areas? Anybody can join in from Turkey, Indonesia, anybody, and especially some good guidance from the worthy speaker. This is what I wanted to say.
Oh, no,
Thank
that's
you.
right. That's perfectly right. Thank you. Please.
I could not hear the last segment, so who has to respond?
I mean, basically, Doctor, she was mentioning she is from Multan, and she was sharing like issues, connectivity issues, and affordability issues. Because there are very remote areas, like she was mentioning, like around Multan, like Kabirwala, this DG Khan, and thing like that one. So the students, their affordability issue, and particularly female student, because that one is a women university. So what would be the solutions?
Well, I guess they have already adopted the solution because it is not from Uzbekistan. We have University of Pakistan, and they all had sort of connectivity issues and at times affordability issues as well. And that was available is to send them burnt CDs, the information to be sent to them on burnt CDs. There is no other way where the student can get the information readily other than we photocopy the material and then send all the stuff. So they have already done what was the possibility, the only possibility. As far as affordability is concerned, so of course it depends upon the university to university. The HEC chairperson have been listening to his talks, and he promised to talk to the telecom companies to come up with some specific student packages which are more affordable for the students. But I think that has not happened yet. The third thing she mentioned was to how to engage particularly the women students. So I would like to give examples of, for example, IEEE. So IEEE has a specific society for women, which is Women in Engineering, WIE, they call it, and it is a very active society being run by women engineers and computer scientists and all this. The same sort of society can also be made in computing, and if they have specific programs, for example, social innovation labs, they can always do women-related activities exactly the way entrepreneurship and innovation and incubation and student startup sort of activities can be arranged. The best would be to have a student startup business center at the university, which is a small setup where the female students' final year projects would be evaluated, and then they would be admitted to the student startup business center, and then they would be guided to actually transform the final year project into a sort of a project where they can earn money and contribute to the economy of Pakistan as well as to the economy of their own families and communities. So there are hundreds of ideas that can be actually done as far as women empowerment is concerned. as far as internet connectivity is concerned, so I have already talked about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah,
very much,
please.
Dr. Saab. I would like to collaborate with you further about this female section of the IEEE fees. Thank you. And I would convey to my administration as well to collaborate with you and find some way for the working of these or promoting these female students from the far-flung area. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'll send to you the details of it. I'm executive member of IEEE Islamabad section. The issue is Multan comes under the IEEE section Lahore, IEEE Lahore section. But as far as collaboration is concerned and as far as guidance or information is concerned, so that can always be provided without any barriers.
Thank you.
Hi, can I say something?
Yes, please, please.
Yeah. So I'm Fatmawati from Indonesia. Hi, Dr. Usma. So, in case of women in science, I'm the chair of Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World for Indonesia National Chapter. So, talking about the female student and also your problems, I think it's not only happen in your in your area, but also all around the world and also in Indonesia. So what we're trying to face this problem is we have a branch, branch women leaders in one area. So in the case of how to spread or how to distribute the materials or how to give the motivation, I think that's the most important things. So I don't know whether you know about the OWSD, as I mentioned before, or Organization for Women in Science. So that's one of the organization that can support the female students around the world. I think also in Pakistan, they have OWSD. That's one thing maybe I can suggest you. So in the platform of OWSD, you can make a collaboration with all around the world. Thank you.
Well, that was really nice. Thank you very much. I'll definitely have contact with you for further progress. Thank you very much. It was wonderful.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mukhtar will join us shortly. Anyone else who want to share his or view or her views?
May I say something here? What's that?
Please.
I'm just responding to Dr. Uzma's comment and queries. I suggest that Dr. Sarba should be looking for or maybe she should be in touch with the consortium, because we are planning to run a few more academic trainings virtually in the foreseeable future, which includes public health issues, and there will be probably another academic training workshop on entrepreneurship. So it all depends what kind of students and faculty you are thinking of bringing to these particular events or trainings. But if they are interested, the information would certainly be available through consortium's network. And what we will do is that once we have the foreign collaborators or the trainers engaged for this particular exercise or workshop, the information will be disseminated through these various academic networks of consortium. And certainly your students or faculty can join these exercises. And these are actually like master training programs. So we are training the trainers. So once you have your own trainers trained through these collaborations with foreign institutions, your faculty or students can train students or other people at your own campus. So I suggest, I mean, these are some of the areas that I was talking about, like public health is one, and entrepreneurship, they are certainly coming up, and perhaps there would be something on education coming up too. So those are all still in the pipeline, but we will work out the modalities as well as the programs in the next couple of weeks. And I think Murtaza Saab is here, so he will be able to give better insight about how it will be disseminated.
Thank you very much, Nadeem sir. Yes, we will be disseminating all these things and all the informations about the nominations and other requirements. We have also already developed a WhatsApp group, so we will be sharing all this information on permanent basis, and we will be welcoming all the participants. Even they can also join from other parts of the world as well. We will be also welcoming other partners as well, other partners, universities from South Asia and other parts of the world. Anybody else who wants to say something?
Well, regarding the accessibility, I have one another idea. Other than sending CDs and burnt USBs, what one can do is to burn their stuff on Raspberry Pi. It is a small computer, probably $50 to $60 price. It has all the facilities of memory and sending out stuff through Wi-Fi antennas. So if we have a known remote cluster of students who somehow can gather at a particular place, so what can be done is we can burn all the courses and the lectures on a small Raspberry Pi computer costing around 5,000-6,000 rupees in Pakistan, and then that can be sent to a particular, let's say, remote region, to a particular school or whatever academy, and then the students can come over and then get access to all the resources over the Wi-Fi. So that is one of the cheap solutions available if we have clusters of students. So sending out Raspberry Pis to individual students would not be that cost effective.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sajjad Madani, for a wonderful suggestion and a wonderful advice. We would also requesting other participants who, if they want to raise something, some challenge or any other relevant point, they are most welcome.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much, Dr. Nadeem Saab, for your great experiences. So it was really amazing for me, and I would like to share the challenges that I faced with teaching online courses. Since I'm teaching language as a second language for the students of Faculty of Public Policy and Administration, and in the English department, I'm teaching literature. I have faced with some kind of challenges or problems, and one of them is the online teaching that I provided for my students. It seemed a little boring for my students, because there are some points that the students didn't like about the online courses. For example, as you know, the language learners, they like to speak, they like to, for example, have face-to-face classes, talk with each other, but unfortunately the online teaching, so there are some kinds of problems regarding providing online courses for the language learners. In addition, I have large and multi-level students in my courses. That's why it was a little problematic for me to teach them all through online. And that's why I had to think deeply how to solve the problem. And then I thought one of the good solutions for building motivation of the learners is providing some fun videos, or asking them to go to the YouTube and find some, for example, if I told them some grammar points, so I asked them to go to the YouTube and to find some interesting videos, and they had to, for example, they had to build their note-taking skills and some other kinds of tasks. And these kinds of activities made my class a little more interesting for the learners. In addition, some technical problems. You know, in Afghanistan, there are some students who live in remote areas, and sometimes they had a problem with electricity, and sometimes they had didn't have access to the internet. So these were the problems that really bothered me, and I always concerned about my learners, how to find solutions for such kind of learners. Unfortunately, now our classes, our face-to-face classes are started, and such kind of problems are solved. And thank you so much for listening. It was some kind of challenges that I, as a teacher, faced with online teaching. Thanks very much.
May I comment a bit?
Thank you very much. Over to Madani sir.
Gigi. So I'll come to the last point first regarding the students living in the remote countries and remote areas, for example, electricity issues and internet issues at times. So the best solution is to go asynchronous, right? We have synchronous learning and we have asynchronous learning. So asynchronous learning, by asynchronous, I mean we have recorded videos or the audios or multimedia slides, or the material is available for anybody, anytime, without the restrictions of any kind of space. So once we have asynchronous material available for the students, whether if the electricity or the internet is not available at particular time X, so it is available at particular time Y, and they can always access the material. So asynchronous learning is the answer to that particular problem. The second problem that you shared is the most difficult issue in online learning, and that is student engagement. Engaging students in a meaningful way is a challenge, and will remain a challenge for a very, very long time, because it is not that easy to engage students in a very effective way. But there have been a lot of different techniques available, and you have been using some of those techniques. What we did was, number one, initially we recorded very long lectures. It became very, very boring. So in the second stage, we started recording very short lectures, around dividing the lectures into 10-minute chunks, and each lecture composed of 4 to 5 chunks. And sort of we made the chunks sort of independent from one another, so that if a student wants to bypass a particular chunk, so he or she can do that. Then on the top of it, we started developing summaries of those lectures, 3 to 4 minute summaries, where the sort of cartoon or sort of animations is run, and then the animations in a way summarizes the whole lectures to 3 to 4 minutes. On the top of this, we started discussion boards, graded discussion boards and moderated discussion boards, and then we inculcated those discussion boards into social media platforms, because the social media is being used by the students very, very actively. So that was a very, very successful experiment. Another way which one of my friends did in the US was, he actually came up with the kind of a wiki for the students, where he would sort of give the structure of the whole course within that particular wikis, and then the particular subtopics of each of the course would be filled in or developed by the students. So when the students see their own contents, and then at the same time they are able to see their colleagues, competition kicks in, and they start developing sort of a very good content. So the best way to go about is to the teacher need to establish, we have different platforms and tools available, so that if a particular student is not comfortable in the material, you should be able to listen or to it, should be able to use this form of wikis, to have it in the form of like concept of gamification of education, where education is being provided through sort of games. And I personally believe teaching language through games would not be well provided, we can develop that sort of technique effective, meaningful way. So that's it from my side.
Murtaza, I have a brief comment here.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Laila Sabha, for your valuable input. I just want to, of course, as other worthy colleagues have said, online teaching is not that easy, and it does have its own challenges with it. When we were running all these online webinars and courses, and even academic courses being taught by foreign faculty in Pakistan, so we experienced a lot of challenges too. But a few ways that you can try, especially in terms of how to make it is more meaningful and engaging. We tried to develop a kind of way that it's not only like a one-way lecturing, it should be a two-way engagement and interaction. So what we did, that if a professor or if a foreign speaker is giving a talk about a certain topic or aspect, we would also include some kind of questions or surveys after every 5 minutes or 10. So like it will pop up on the screen and it will ask the students about their, will be multiple choice questions given to the students about the kind of or whatever has been expressed so far, and in order to get a kind of immediate feedback or some kind of from the students, which on the one side kept the students engaged, that they have to listen what is being said by the professor or by the foreign speaker. Second, it also gave speaker the kind of information what people think about the topic when he's delivering or when she's delivering the lecture or the talk. So that was one. Additionally, what happened that some of these webinars also included certain cultural or related videos, especially since you are part of this linguistic department. So I'm talking about so they would bring in very short videos of various accents which are being used by different communities using those languages as part of communication. So that would also give some kind of a change in terms of a regular kind of ongoing talk, which is too long. And lastly, we also added a component in the in these online webinars, since as part of your connectivity issues and poor internet accessibility, most of these talks or webinars are being recorded. So actually record the entire session. There was an option given to the students that recording of this session along with the slides as well as all these videos and survey polls, whatever the students have given as a feedback to the professor, are available on this website or this course website, which the students or the faculty have registered. So at their own convenience, whenever they have time with them and they have better connectivity, they can always go back and listen to that recorded session. But it will not end there. They still have to give in their input about the lecture. So then they will be made part of the course or whatever academic activity you conducted. So they can listen to that, they can play that video, they can look at all the slides, they can look at all the relevant materials, but they still have to give in their part of the feedback survey or input which is required for them. So these are some of the tips that can be used in online teaching, especially when you are facing all these different challenges with different parts of the country, with having variable connectivity issues. So I hope I addressed some of your concerns.
Thank you very much, Nadeem
I,
sir.
I'll sh- I will share with Murtaza Noor one of our websites where we have all we have the videos available for some of our courses. Those videos have the animations as well. Those videos have in-video quizzes, as mentioned by Nadeem Saab, for instant feedback of the students as well as the faculty. And those videos have reading materials on one platform available as well. So I'll share that particular link with Murtaza Saab to share with all of you, so you can see how things on our end.
Thank you very much, sir. I will be also forwarding all the relevant information which you have just shared with the honorable participants. Anyone else who wants to share or to raise any query or related to the challenges, or sharing their own experiences, how they have addressed those issues as well. Actually, the main purpose of our today's interaction is also that we want to learn from one another's experiences. And this is the main purpose of this interaction, that we should learn from one another's experiences, and the remedy will be there, solution will be there. But the thing is that if we will be raising all these things, then there will be, we can also suggest some remedy as well. No? Anyone else, please?
Assalamualaikum, Shamshad from Bangladesh. So I have a question for Dr. Nadeem. I actually posted it in the chat box. So my question was about the cooperation with the US universities. So I'm just curious, like, did you have any MOU in place even before, like, you had the collaboration before the corona, attack and everything? So you seem to be, migrating pretty soon with the American universities. So what sort of arrangement you had with those universities? That's question number one. And then how did you accommodate the, fees? So with Pakistani universities and the American universities. So what sort of negotiation you had to do from your office? And at the same time, the academic calendar, how did you adjust that? Like, that's the other relevant question, I suppose. Thank you.
Over to Nadeem Saab.
Thank you, Asha Saab, for your questions and your input. Well, in the academic world, people are connected with each other. So some kind of connections that are built over time with your colleagues in these different US universities. But this is why I was saying these are the times where you can actually focus more and you can bring those relationship in action. For example, you might have an office in your own can be an institute of studies center which will be collaborating with various foreign universities. Give you an access to you need to have a partner a US university. These forms, either your Fulbright alumni who is serving in Bangladesh, or your Fulbright who are actually studying in these US universities, who can be put in touch and they can work out, like Dr. X or Miss Y from such and such university will be willing to be for like a guest speaker or a mentor or a research supervisor for this particular program. And then, of course, you have to bring your university administration on board in the way that it will be like a kind of a general MOU signing between the two universities university, just between those who wish to engage in this particular collaborative. It should be two to one with getting some Bangladesh getting some benefit from the foreign collaboration. Be some sort of like incentive for the foreign partner as well. It could be like access to certain research areas that their academics are interested in working in Bangladesh. It could be like they could have some kind of information which they would like to share as part of the academic enrichment seminar for their own students in those US universities, which they usually, when they usually bring in other cultures and other traditions from different parts of the world in order to introduce them to these different parts of the world. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There should be inked certain such incentives for the foreign collaborator too. I mean, when we signed this MOU, we not only said that we will be inviting a US scholar and who will be doing such and such exercise and then he will be going back, but we also gave them an opportunity that this will also give you or your students an access to the kind of course development on this particular area of the world that you may want to teach, or how your particular subject area research in Bangladesh, which you can share with your own students in the US. Regarding the fee thing, it is pretty sensitive, but and it's a little complicated. It depends upon the leadership of the two universities or the people who are actually initiating the partnership. What we did in our experience with these various universities, like for example, we had a Georgetown University working with I think Fatma Jinnah Women University in Pakistan. So we spoke to the counterpart at Georgetown University that when the students are registered in this particular course, according to their semester schedule, which is like either fall or the spring, or sometimes in summer. So it depends when that professor is available and when that professor wants to engage with this foreign collaboration. Usually summer is a time where they are running these sort of special courses, but sometimes it works in fall as well. It all depends according to the availability of the foreign professor who wants to be engaged particularly. Foreign professor, what we did, we convinced the university, Georgetown University, that Pakistani students will not be paying a fee of Georgetown University. The Pakistani students will be paying fee for their own university, but because this is a collaborative effort, they would still get a certificate which will be jointly signed by Georgetown University and Fatma Jinnah Women University, and vice versa. So similarly, an exercise was done for the American students who were part of that course, that they will be paying their own fee to their university, but they will again get the certification from the Pakistan institution as well. They won't be charging any fee to American students. So it was like a kind of, I would say, a win-win situation for both the faculty members who were talking to each other. They engaged with each other, what kind of activity they want to run, what kind of activity they want to engage their students. And then what we found out after successful completion of this course, 4 or 5 of the students from the US, like I would say probably graduate student and maybe a couple of undergrad students, ended up coming to Pakistan doing their summer internships in Pakistan in those different areas like microfinancing and rural development. So these are some of the areas where the students were very much interested and they wanted to come in and be part of some kind of activity in Pakistan. So they were exposed to certain very vibrant organizations which were working here. And I'm sure there must be several like these in Bangladesh, where you can give these sort of potential incentives to the academic side in the US, and they could potentially collaborate and would be willing to work with you and your partners at your university. So I hope I address some
Yeah,
of
thank you so much. Yeah.
questions.
So, just a follow-up queries because as we speak, we do have the full. I'm a Fulbrighter myself, so we have those kind of connections, and we have AIDS, the American Bangladesh Studies Center at Berkeley,
Yeah.
so who are actually coordinating the American interest in Bangladesh. But whenever we approach universities, like as we speak, like I'm signing a contract with Purdue University for a Center for Digital Humanities, and my colleague who is also here, Arifa. So we're part of that project. But what I'm curious about, like, whenever we approach our university, so as you said, it has to be win-win situation. And what if they usually do? So they ask for 2+2 degree program, kind of, or where you have the credit transfer. So basically, you will be losing your students, especially for a private university. It's very difficult, So when you have your enrolled students, being, so transferred to some other institutions. So that's challenge one. The other thing that, so of course with online webinars, so it's not an issue. Like, you can always reach out to your colleagues or like, former professors and mentors, and they're willing to like cooperate. But it becomes tricky at the moment you ask for like, kind of a collaboration at an institutional level. Maybe like, their particular interested would be having some data on a particular field. Maybe humanities is not that important for them. So maybe like, in life science, they would be interested. Where we can be human subject for them, or like, social sciences. So some of the areas. So again, like, it's not always like our interest that comes first. So I'm just curious, like, how you negotiate these areas. So that these are, so this is a kind of a platform where, we all come from the similar experiences. So, and given your experience, I'm just, interested in learning how you negotiate, this kind of booby traps, so to put it. For example, the student mobility that you mentioned, the summer schools, Bangladesh has been put on an orange code, like, for travel restrictions and all that. So we used to have a center here for, so students coming from the States to learn Bangla, and that has been stopped, So again, so it depends on the US policy. So for them, like, it's no longer safe to visit Bangladesh, So there are traps, but again, like, with this online thing, now we are in a position to attract, some of the US scholars. Even Fulbright scholars are not allowed to come in because of the travel restrictions.
Yeah.
The insurance is probably $6,000 if they want to visit. So if I want to visit, invite my professor, so he won't be able to visit because of the high insurance rate and all that. So yeah, I'm just curious, like, so how's the situation across the region?
Well, I can certainly understand then your concerns and your like kind of difficulties because of all these various restrictions which are in place. At this point, I suggest when you are talking about like how to negotiate with the university in the US on this particular engagement that you may have in your mind, best would be to find out a scholar who have done some work on Bangladesh, and he was or she was from any US university. And I think the Institute of Bangladesh Studies would be a very much, I mean, it's an important institution in the sense to give you that sort of information, that what scholars or which scholar is available in which university in your particular area who might have some interest in continuing that relationship. In our, I mean, I'm talking about our experiences with American scholars who have been coming to Pakistan, or on other very research grants. They are the ones who actually have a very strong commitment to cultivate a relationship or a partnership, and they can help building up this partnership between your institution and either their or some of their colleagues' institution in US. So that is one. Of course, I know that there are restrictions. The language students are unable to come these days, and of course, according to the US State Department policies, certain areas are or certain parts of the world are not like being funded by the State Department for any sort of exchanges. But this virtual platform, I think if you can tap onto some of those research scholars within the US, I know like Dr. Matbar is, I think, at Monmouth University, who used to be, and probably he still is, the Institute of Bangladesh Studies president.
He's at Shubir Malini Center.
So, I know him well. So I mean, I was just talking about in the sense that a scholar like him who has who have a Bangladeshi origin, and he's also actually heading this institute, he would know a lot of people who would have a very active interest in Bangladesh. And if they want to engage in some kind of collaborative effort, they can bring their own institution with them. Like it's usually a faculty-driven exercise. I mean, you cannot go straight to the administration yourself and say that you want to run this program. It won't work that way. But if that scholar who was part of some sort of exchange and was in Bangladesh at some point, he or she is willing to be engaged in this particular partnership, I'm pretty sure that he will or she will find a way where that institution, or at least the institutional administration, is involved and a mechanism is worked out. I'll be more than happy to share some of our like MOUs with the institutions that we have carved out. So if you want to like look at those for drafting your own particular program,
that would be wonderful. Yes.
Share that.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for this. I think very impressive question. So, I mean, anybody else have a question? Looks like people are getting tired, and Dr. Nadeem is having a cup of tea, and everybody is jealous of you. Like, I mean, such a great weather, you know. Okay, so looks like people are getting tired. So, I mean, what we are going to do, we are going to finish tonight's session a bit earlier with a very encouraging note that next week is the last week, and we have invited Professor Dr. Suhail Naqvi. He is a rector of in University of Central Asia in Kyrgyzstan. So he will be talking to us about how that university has been dealing with the with their virtual problem. So, I mean, we are very thankful to all the participants. I can see over here, everybody is around. And particularly Madni Saab, like, I mean, who participated once again with us. And we are looking forward to hearing from him more and more. And Nadeem Saab, thank you very much. I know you have a very busy schedule always. But few things like, I mean, like general things which we would like to mention here. So next week, I mean, because that will be just like a concluding day after the lecture. So we would like to, Mursa asked me to convey this message. He is around also. I mean, if he allow me, he can say by himself. So everybody should be, have to fill a small form about the course, like what they think about this one. And Mursa, you want to say something, or should I continue?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We would be requesting all the participants to share their exact names so that we want to get it printed over their certificates. And we will be also sharing a feedback performer as well. This would be online, you can say, form. They can fill the information and about their, and specifically about their, you can say, feedback and impact of the this important course. So we will be requesting within 2 or 3 days, and we will be requesting all the participants that they must join us on during the last, you can say, lecture. And but our relationship will be going beyond, hopefully, and we will be we have already decided that our already established WhatsApp group will continue, and we will be continue to share our experiences, and we will continue to learn from one another. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, all. You all have a great afternoon, evening, morning, or whatever you have in your time zone. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be with you. So see you next. Bye now.